The afternoon sun cast long shadows across Maple Street as Zara Williams drove home from her job at the community center. Red and blue lights flashed in her rearview mirror, and her heart sank. She pulled her silver Honda to the curb, hands already trembling as she reached for her license. Officer Kane approached her window, his partner Brooks positioning himself near the passenger side. Both men wore stern expressions that made Zara's stomach churn. "License and registration," Kane demanded, his voice sharp and cold. Zara handed over her documents with steady hands. "Officer, may I ask why you stopped me?" "You were speeding." 40 in a 25 zone, Brooks lied smoothly. "That's not true, sir. I was going the speed limit." Kane's eyes narrowed. "Are you calling us liars?" In the back seat, Bear, her German shepherd, began to whine softly. Luna, her golden retriever mix, pressed against the window, sensing the tension radiating from her owner. Both dogs could feel something was terribly wrong. "Step out of the vehicle," Kane ordered, his hand moving toward his belt. Zara's breath caught in her throat. This was escalating far too quickly for a simple traffic stop. "I said get out," Kane shouted, yanking Zara's door open with unnecessary force. Zara complied slowly, keeping her hands visible. "Officers, please. I haven't done anything wrong." "Shut your mouth," Brooks snarled, grabbing her arm roughly and spinning her against the car. "You people always think you know better than the law." Kane pressed his knee into Zara's back as Brooks twisted her arms behind her. The metal cuffs bit into her wrists as she cried out in pain. "Stop. You're hurting me." "Good," Kane spat, his breath hot against her ear. "Maybe next time you'll show some respect." Inside the car, Bear erupted into furious barking. The 70-pound German shepherd threw his weight against the partially open window, and the glass gave way. Luna squeezed through right behind him, both dogs hitting the pavement running. Bear charged straight at Kane, teeth bared and growling like thunder. The officer stumbled backward, releasing Zara as the powerful dog planted himself between them. Luna circled behind Brooks, her normally gentle nature replaced by fierce protective instincts. "Get these animals away from us," Brooks yelled, reaching for his weapon. "No!" Zara screamed. "Don't hurt them." Windows began opening up and down the street. Mrs. Chen from across the road stepped onto her porch, phone already in hand. Mr. Rodriguez emerged from his garage, tools still in his grip. 3 teenagers on bikes stopped at the corner, all of them recording with their phones. Bear stood his ground, every muscle coiled and ready, while Luna positioned herself to guard Zara's other side. Mrs. Chen's fingers moved quickly across her phone screen. 911? "Yes, I need help on Maple Street. 2 officers are attacking a young woman, and her dogs are trying to protect her." Her camera captured everything: Kane's excessive force, Brooks's racial slurs, and the dog's brave intervention. Other neighbors joined her, creating a circle of witnesses with phones raised high. "I saw the whole thing," called out Mr. Rodriguez, stepping closer. "She wasn't speeding. I was working in my driveway when she drove by." The teenagers on bikes moved in for better angles. "This is crazy," one whispered. "Those cops are totally out of line." Kane and Brooks backed away from the growling dogs, suddenly aware of their audience. Everyone moved back. "This is police business. This is public property," Mrs. Chen replied firmly, still recording. "And this young lady has rights." A black SUV pulled up, and Marcus Johnson stepped out. The well-known community activist surveyed the scene with sharp eyes, his own phone already capturing footage. "Officers, I'm Marcus Johnson with the Citizens Justice Coalition. These witnesses have recorded your entire interaction." Brooks sneered. "We don't answer to you people." "Actually, you do," Marcus replied calmly. "Especially when your body cameras are malfunctioning." He pointed to Kane's chest. "Funny how they always seem to stop working during incidents like this." Kane's face paled. He hadn't realized his camera light was still blinking red. Detective Sarah Park arrived within minutes, her no-nonsense demeanor cutting through the chaos. She surveyed the scene with trained eyes, taking note of the gathered witnesses and the officers' defensive postures. "Kane, Brooks, step back from the scene," she ordered. "I'm taking over this investigation." "Sarah, this is just a routine traffic stop that got out of hand," Kane protested. "Nothing about this looks routine," Park replied, examining the cuff marks on Zara's wrists. She turned to Mrs. Chen. "Ma'am, did you record everything?" "Every second," Mrs. Chen confirmed, handing over her phone. "Including the part where they called her, 'you people,' and used excessive force." Detective Park's jaw tightened as she reviewed the footage. She then retrieved Kane's body camera, noting its continuous recording light. "Interesting. You told dispatch your cameras malfunctioned." Brooks shifted nervously. "Technical difficulties happen." "Not according to this," Park said, holding up the device. "This recorded everything, including your racial slurs and false accusations." Marcus Johnson stepped forward with a thick file folder. "Detective Park, you should know that Officers Kane and Brooks have quite a history. 7 complaints of racial profiling in the past 2 years. 3 excessive force allegations. All mysteriously dismissed." Park opened the folder, her expression growing darker with each page. "Internal Affairs buried these reports." "Not anymore," Marcus replied. "The community has been documenting everything. We have witness statements, video evidence, and pattern documentation spanning 5 years. Zara finally spoke, her voice steady despite everything. "Detective, I just want justice. Not just for me, but for everyone they've hurt." Bear and Luna remained close to their owner, alert but calmer now that help had arrived. The courthouse steps overflowed with supporters as Zara walked toward the entrance, Bear and Luna flanking her sides. Mrs. Chen, Mr. Rodriguez, Marcus Johnson, and dozens of community members formed a protective wall around her. Inside the packed courtroom, District Attorney Lisa Morgan presented the case with methodical precision. "Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the evidence is overwhelming and undeniable." The body camera footage played on large screens, showing Kane's knee pressed into Zara's back and Brooks's hateful words. Gasps filled the courtroom as the audio captured their callous remarks. "They called me, 'you people,'" Zara testified, her voice clear and strong. "They hurt me for no reason except the color of my skin. But I'm not just speaking for myself today. I'm speaking for everyone who has suffered in silence." Mrs. Chen took the stand next, describing what she witnessed. "I've lived on Maple Street for 30 years. I know right from wrong, and what those officers did was completely wrong." The defense attorney tried desperately to discredit the evidence, but 17 different camera angles from phones and security systems told the same story. When the verdict came, the courtroom erupted. Guilty on all charges of assault, battery, civil rights violations, and filing false reports. Kane received 18 months in prison. Brooks got 2 years. Both lost their badges permanently. Outside, Zara hugged her loyal dogs as the community celebrated not just her victory, but a victory for justice itself. 6 months after the trial, Maple Street buzzed with positive energy. The police department had implemented mandatory body cameras, bias training, and civilian oversight boards. Chief Williams, no relation to Zara, personally apologized and promised real change. Zara stood before the city council, Bear and Luna sitting proudly beside her. "Today marks the launch of the Community Protection Program," she announced. "We're training dogs to assist families during police encounters, and creating neighborhood watch groups with proper recording equipment." The crowd erupted in applause. Mrs. Chen beamed from the front row, holding a framed photo of Bear and Luna with their new honorary police badges. "These 2 heroes showed us that loyalty and courage come in all forms," Mayor Thompson declared. "Bear and Luna remind us that protection means standing up for what's right." Marcus Johnson approached the podium. "Change doesn't happen overnight, but it starts with one brave person refusing to stay silent. Zara, you've given our community something precious, hope. Bear wagged his tail as children from the audience came forward to pet him. Luna nuzzled against Zara's hand, sensing her owner's pride and happiness. The sun set over Maple Street, casting golden light on a neighborhood transformed. Justice had prevailed, and a stronger, more united community emerged from the darkness. The bonds that protect had grown stronger than ever.